are back with episode 3 of ICOPOD. I'm Bob Colling Jr., and joining me as always is Austin Skinner.
The more attractive one of the two.
You know, I was really hoping you wouldn't say that because it is accurate. Women don't seem to appreciate my rugged good looks. I mean, I trim, though.
Your beard is looking awesome. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, well, this is about wrestling, not about my lack of dating life. So the last episode we had was the Royal Rumble. And in the Royal Rumble podcast, we had a couple of notes about where you could find the podcast and stuff like that. So now we're here to give you the actual proper information. So we are on Facebook. It's at ICOPOD, but it has no spaces anymore. It's just ICOPOD. So if you just type in ICOPOD, I wonder how many times I can say ICOPOD.
Yeah, because you made me feel bad about it, you jerk.
It's just easier if you don't have...
space. Fuck you, okay?
Okay.
Now it's normal for everybody.
It's normal. So if you want to, if you're listening and you enjoy our ramblings, you can go over to Facebook and give us a like there. We always post updates and various posts on there. And obviously you're listening, but you can also download it on iTunes. You know, yes. I don't know how that stuff works out, mobilizing and stuff like that. I'm pretty ignorant, I guess, when it comes to iTunes.
I prefer iTunes when I'm listening to podcasts, so I'm sure there's people out there who do as well.
I'm sure you're right. And also, I recently created an email address, and it's icopodcast@gmail.com. The idea here being that if you have thoughts on the show and you don't want to comment on the Facebook page or whatever, you can send us an email, and we can read the thoughts on other fans' minds, whether what you were thinking at the time, stuff like that. Give a different perspective since we're watching it, nearly 30 years after the fact, 25 years after the fact. So, and also, I mentioned it in the Rumble episode, but moving forward for Raws especially, there'll just be one per episode instead of doing two. That way there's just more content and things like that. So
better pacing, too, not to overload people. Right,
and then if we fall behind, because we'll record 2 in a day, so every day that we sit down, we'll do 2. But if we ever have to fall behind or something, you guys will still have content out there instead of doing 2 episodes and then if one of us can't record, then you go a week without anything.
Right.
So it just seemed to make the most sense. Moving on. Do you have anything else?
I think you covered it beautifully.
Thank you. I probably said that wicked fast, but you can just re-listen to it, I guess, and go from there.
Yeah, hit the rewind button. That's a thing.
Yeah. So, like I said, out of the Royal Rumble. So now we're heading to the January 25th edition of Raw. But before we go into Raw, Austin, I have some news.
Okay.
From the Observer. Yokozuna recently wrestled Earthquake. And I believe this was the weekend before the Rumble.
Okay.
He recently fought Earthquake for a Coliseum video release, and Yokozuna just demolished Earthquake in the match and apparently got more over as a result.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of explains their interaction maybe at the Royal Rumble itself.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And I should note that match was eventually released on Invasion of Body Slammers.
Good Lord.
Which I think is on the network.
Okay. So. I would actually like to see that, actually.
Yeah, I think I did the research. It went like 4 minutes or something. It's not a very long match. Marty Jannetty, our favorite rocker, he's been fired.
Damn it.
And Max Moon will be taking his bookings as a result.
Perfect. What a great substitution.
I love it.
Really looking forward to that. And if you can't pick up on my sarcasm, it's too bad because it's laying on pretty thick right now.
Max Moon is amazing. Just give him time. I'm going to get several people that you don't like. By the end of this project, you're going to be like, wow, he was great. I'm gonna pick and choose my battles, not Max Moon.
Yeah.
Sid Justice is finally a free agent, as he was under contract with the WWF this entire time, but we hadn't seen him since April of '92.
Holy cow!
Right. I believe he had failed a drug test, and that's why he.
Well, that makes sense, I suppose.
Are you a big Sid Justice fan?
You know what? You're gonna be shocked, but I'm a Sid fan.
I am too. I like the look.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, in ring, it's kind of.
Well,
yikes.
We don't have to talk about that yet.
You're right. we got a couple of years before we got to touch base on that. Also, some major news or potential major news. It appears that Hulk Hogan, brother, has been in talks with World Championship Wrestling, but it is believed that it's just a ploy to get the WWF to increase their money offer.
And does that surprise me that Hogan's looking for the most money possible?
Right. Well, it's a business.
It's a business.
What would you? So we're in January '93. What would you do or think about Hogan in WCW in '93 if he were to jump ship?
So I think it would be a positive for both companies, to be honest with you, if he had jumped in '93. Because, all right, so you're starting this, we're not quite there yet, but we're starting this new generation movement. Does it make sense to bring in Hulk Hogan? No.
Well, I would keep Hogan there just to elevate guys.
Yeah, but would he do it? He'd give you a hard time.
If the price is right. If you're like, hey, Hogan, I need you to lose to Bret Hart tonight or at WrestleMania or whatever. Here's $2 million.
Yeah, well, they're not paying him that.
You never know.
I doubt it. But at the same time, I think he would have been able to get a little bit more steam in WCW before 95, 96. He turns in 96. I mean, you get a little bit more face time on screen in WCW. I think it would have been a plus for both sides if he had jumped. Honestly.
I don't know. I mean, 93 WCW still has that really, like, South feel to it.
But with Hogan...
Like a grainy South.
But with Hogan, I think that would have turned around pretty quickly.
Well, assuming that the right guy were to get in charge.
Well, okay, that's asking a lot.
Right, well, that's a huge...
lot.
That's a huge what if there, I guess.
Right.
So that's all the news, I guess, coming into the January 25th Raw. It is a pretty big Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I should note that this one was taped on January 18th, so the week prior.
Boo.
I believe I had noted in the 18th one that...
I think so, yeah.
That was taped or something, but that was live. This one is taped, which when we get to the end of it doesn't really make a lot of sense because it kind of spoils for like 1,200 fans or so, like a really big angle.
Right.
All right, so you want to get started with this?
Let's jump into it.
All right, well, we're at the Manhattan Center, and start off the show, Sean Mooney's waiting outside for one of our favorite wrestlers.
Repo Man.
That's right, the Repo Man.
Boo. You know what? It looked effing freezing outside. You see Sean Mooney? He was bundled. It had to be cold out. It had to be freezing
Didn't he? I think he had like gloves on and everything.
Oh, he was bundled up.
Yeah. Well, it's New York. It's January. Repo Man drives up with a tow truck, and he still has possession of Macho Man's hat.
Almost ran Sean Mooney over.
He did. He did not care. It was like he went right on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
Repo Man says he's going to repossess Macho Man's career. It's over.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money you think you'd get if he repossessed that.
Well, if he went into his gear bag, he'd probably be able to sell some pretty good stuff.
Wow. What are you trying to insinuate there?
No comment.
Okay. Well, that means Repo Man then runs into the venue as, really excited about his upcoming match with Randy Savage. We head into the arena. Bobby Heenan is finally on commentary. He only took 3 episodes.
Well, I have to make note, too, before we jump into Bobby, because we both love him, of course. First of all, the hat. So Savage, he's got the same hat, which is good. We show some continuity there. But it definitely drove home the fact that, hey, this is taped. Because it's like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It was like, okay, like this, there's no time in between, it seems like. Also, Repo Man's mask, this whole time, is crooked as hell. Like, he looks like a fool as he's talking. He's like, you can barely see his eyes because the mask is like up over his eyes. It looks so ridiculous.
Well, Repo Man's a ridiculous character.
Fair enough.
I mean, this guy was Demolition Smash.
Yeah.
He was a body guy. He's like, I'm a hard-hitting guy. And now it's Repo Man. He looks... I mean, as we get into the match here, he looks like a guy who they just pulled off a couch.
Literally. Like, whose dad is that?
Yeah.
Get your dad
it's
off
like,
the screen.
Come on, Dad. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Just sit down and be a fan with me, Dad.
Right.
Like, what are you doing in there?
It's as if he has lost complete motivation and he knows, like, this character is done.
Absolutely.
Like, I have nowhere really to go.
But I have to give the WWF props, because guess what was outside for this shot?
Fans.
A smattering of a crowd.
Look at that.
Amen to that, brother.
I'm proud of them
Yeah,
for
you know
actually
what?
making it
They're
look like
getting
Raw's
there.
important.
They're getting there.
So, as I mentioned, Bobby Heenan's on commentary with McMahon and Bartlett.
Mm-hmm.
McMahon runs down the show. It features Kamala. He'll be in action.
Yep.
As will the Bushwhackers.
They're announced. Mm-hmm.
And then Heenan hypes up the career match between Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair. Heenan, of course, is heavily in favor of Ric Flair winning.
Of course. Yeah, he even cuts off Bartlett, too, because Bartlett starts getting into Repo Man and the Macho Man stuff. And Bobby just goes, I don't care about some junky car or a cheap hat. And he just starts screaming right off the bat. We're 30 seconds in. Bobby Heenan screaming. So you know it's going to be a good episode. I loved it.
Well, we'll see that about a good episode. All right, so that leads us to our first match. Austin, if you want to take it away.
Yep, so Repo Man makes his entrance. And you know what? You're going to be shocked to hear this, Bob. But I actually like his entrance music.
It's the best thing about the act.
I like it. It sounds like kind of a hip-hop beat with his name just repeated over it, which is a common thing at this time. You just see the name over the music. But I like it. His gear and body look horrible. It looks like Repo Man's put on an extra 50 pounds.
Oh, it's all in the gut, too.
Yeah, it's so bad.
You know, and it's weird because I've watched a lot of like 92 stuff, and that's one of my favorite years in wrestling. And like for what I've seen with Repo Man there, like he still is caring about himself.
Right.
You know, he's being presented on TV and stuff. And then when I was watching this, I was just like,
He
wow.
just looks so Bush League. Like,
Yeah.
what is this guy doing?
It's similar to Bigelow from the Rumble for his gear, the gear part of it. It's like these guys are not
I agree.
presenting themselves as making a lot of money or anything.
Well, and it just goes to show like who cares and who doesn't, because at this time they're paying for their own gear, you know.
Sure.
So Repo Man's obviously not putting too much into it compared to say like a Savage or a Michaels, who's going
those
all
guys,
out, you know.
I would imagine those guys made significantly more money.
Well, sure, but at the same time, if I'm Repo Man, and I'm on Monday Night Raw, I'm making sure at least nothing else, my gear looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think. You don't want to go out there with bullshit on.
Yeah, if you don't have the body,
Right.
have
You want
at
to
least
make
something.
sure. Yeah, you want to make sure your gear looks pretty damn good.
Right.
So, but yes, you know, moving from that, Bobby says that Savage's hat, where it is now, is the best that hat has ever looked, which I thought was hilarious because that's just another thing that made Repo Man look ridiculous. It's like the pink and yellow hat or whatever on top of his head.
Yeah.
Savage does run in pretty quickly after that, though. No entrance, just starts putting the boots to Repo Man. And here we go. Savage was over Repo. Bartlett cracked. Is that a flesh-colored beanie Macho Man has on?
I noted that. And
Are
then
you kidding me?
I feel like these guys are really not helping out talent.
Well, for Bartlett, that's just cheap heat to get over on Macho Man.
I mean, I think all of them have been guilty of it at some point so far.
Especially at this time. Well, like Bobby, but especially at this time, it's all gloves are off with these guys. Which I don't know if it's funny, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best thing for the product. You know?
Yeah, and coming off of the Rumble, I mean, I know this was taped technically before the Rumble.
Right.
I would consider these last 2 days pretty bad for Macho.
Yeah.
In terms of presentation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to continue on with the action from there.
I mean, and here's the thing. So Repo just looks so sloppy. Wow. Like, how is this guy on Raw? He just, you know what? Like we said, he reminds me of somebody's dad who got up off the couch and decided to play wrestler that night. It literally looks like that.
I completely agree. The wrestling is mostly like brawling. Mm-hmm. And
Which is, you know what? That's fair.
that's the era.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's what you got to expect. I noticed on commentary, though, that Heenan asks McMahon, hey, where do we get this guy? In reference to Bartlett. And McMahon goes, well, we saw him walking off the subway. As if, accepting or admitting the fact, this guy sucks.
Yeah, and
We just grabbed him off the street.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you, because, okay, so compare this episode, which is only episode 3. Compare episode 3 to episode 1 with Bartlett. He might as well not even be out there at this point. They've cut him back significantly. And boy, oh boy, I can't thank Vince enough for that.
Yeah, the first episode, it was all him.
So heavy.
Yeah.
So heavy on Bartlett.
And I think that's the entertainer part in someone, because they're thinking, I got to get myself over, because he probably has different gigs.
Right, and maybe this might not be his, target audience or whatever.
No.
So
I can't imagine.
But yes, I do appreciate that moving forward, that they're more or less understanding what they have with Bartlett, and what they have isn't very much.
No, absolutely.
I also noted we got the worst timed break yet because we go to commercial right as Savage is making his comeback. So like
We're live, pal.
what the F to that? Like, come on. The best part of the match, seemingly. Oh, commercial break. We'll be right back. No.
Well, you gotta have the fans want to come back. Like, oh, does he have control? I would imagine when they came back from commercial, he wasn't in control.
No, he was not.
Okay, of course.
No.
Perfect.
No.
Got to keep the heat on Repo.
Yeah, I guess. Bobby makes a comment here. I was kind of surprised. Bartlett says that Repo Man's talking more than Clinton did during the inaugural address.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan goes, he's making more sense. So I was like, holy shit. Like I said, no, just all gloves are off here on commentary. And I guess, hindsight watching it back, it's funny. But at the time, I'm surprised they were getting away with some of this shit on here. Should we go into the finish?
I suppose. I mean, to me, it's not really that memorable, the whole
It's
match
really
anyway.
not. Yeah.
Repo control most of the match, but Savage is able to come back with a clothesline after coming off the middle rope.
Yep.
And follows up with a scoop slam. And Savage heads to the top, hitting the ever-popular elbow drop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, like Repo controlled most of the match. The finish kind of came out of nowhere. It was like Savage just take you take what he's got, come back and win.
Yeah.
It also was pretty troubling to me that Savage had some trouble with a lesser character like Repo.
Yeah.
Because it took him 12 minutes.
Well, and
win the match.
I'm kind of surprised that Savage at this time was like, yeah, I'll work with Repo Man. Especially seeing him here. If I'm Savage, I'm saying, no, I'll stay at the commentary table. Thank you very much. But no thanks.
I think Savage is the type of guy that would rather be in the ring fighting anybody than being just at the commentary table.
God bless him, man. Because like, okay, if I'm Vince McMahon sitting at the table watching this, Repo Man's last Raw is Raw 3. Like, he ain't on another one. We're done with him.
There's been a few characters already that I think are just head-scratching decisions to be putting on live television.
Payroll guys. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing with this guy?
And at the end of here, I mean, we'll talk about a certain situation, and I'll bring up guys like this. Like, I don't even know what they're really benefiting to the company.
Now, on the flip side of that, Bob, would you say still at this time that Savage is one of the best in the world?
I would not say best in the world.
I disagree.
Well, he hasn't been presented as being best in the world.
But at the end of the day, I still think Savage is there. Savage is still there, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Savage can probably still go, for sure.
Right.
But if I'm a fan watching on television, judging by what I've seen in just probably the last 3 months,
right,
probably since September of '92, I don't think I'd be under the impression like, oh, wow, this guy can really go. Like, he can really compete. Now, when he gets in the ring with suitable competition,
yeah,
that's different.
Well, I even give him credit here for just having a halfway decent match with this guy.
I wouldn't even say halfway decent.
Well, okay, so you put in Repo Man with, I don't know, Tatanka? You think they're having a match like this?
Don't you bring him into this.
I'm just saying.
Tatanka is my boy. You know this is he's
I'm
my
just
boy.
saying.
And I'm 100% on the Tatanka train here.
Well, hey.
And you're going to join me. And you know what? Yes, I think it would be. I'll tell you what. I don't think it takes Tatanka 12 minutes to beat Repo Man.
God, I hope not.
Drop the mic on there. Yeah, so that means he's better than Macho Man.
Well, I'll give you that one.
But
But
we're gonna fight on this. I'm telling you. I'm just gonna cheap shot you.
You better stop it. I'll tomahawk you.
I'll go on a warpath or dance or whatever you call
Oh
it.
my God.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Did you not like the match or no? Yes.
I didn't like I didn't like the match. I appreciated what Savage working pretty damn hard to try and get something over here. He even goes to try to like attack him at the end of the match. The referee stop him. I did like that. He finally gets his hat back. Okay, great.
Thank
Hooray.
God.
But did I like the match? No. Do I think Savage made the most out of what he had? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't very much, I guess.
It wasn't very much.
Moving on from there, there's a little segment here where they didn't. I guess they act like they don't know they're on.
Yes.
But Bobby Heenan's like hitting on the
Yes.
ring girl, and then he goes, "Are we on?" Cracked me up.
Well, because he goes right there, back at you, sweetheart. And he give me a honk later. I'm in room. Wait, what room? What are we on? And it's so good. It plays off so well. I had to rewind it, Bob, and be like, did that really just happen? Like, he sold me on it.
I know.
I was like, holy shit, Bobby Heenan's flirting with the ring girl right now.
It's so I'm cracking up
It
right now.
was
Just
awesome. Perfectly timed.
Oh yeah.
Perfectly timed. And it cuts right to a video package for WrestleMania. So it's almost like they're playing on production side, like, shit,
Right.
Bobby Heenan's
Well, it's
cut to something
uncensored, uncut.
cut to something
Who
else.
knows? Bobby Heenan's trying to get with the ring girl there.
Oh, it was so good.
Speaking of the WrestleMania 9 hype video that's coming from Las Vegas, I noticed that Damien Demento's in the video, which would make me think that Damien Demento will get his WrestleMania moment.
God, I hope not. I didn't even notice him in the video.
Yeah, he just does like a yell, he looks like he's yelling.
Oh,
It's not like an offensive move.
right. Of course,
It's just
not.
like ah.
There is no offensive move.
He's pretty good at
Talking to this guy.
yeah. So the second match on the show is Kamala, the freshly turned babyface Kamala. He is competing against the Brooklyn Brawler.
Hooray.
Main event anywhere in the country, I would say.
I thought this was funny because obviously Brawler's the man under Kim Chi's mask.
Is he still at this point?
I think so. Who else would be doing it?
I don't know.
I think it's still Brawler.
I'd have to look at it. But I mean, I know he plays him at some point, but
I think it's Brawler, which is funny because it's like, okay,
man, now it's gonna bug me. I feel like Kimchi looks really small.
maybe. I don't know. I thought it was Brawler still.
We should have probably researched that to figure it out. Oh well.
We'll pretend that we
Wait.
know. Yeah, we know. We're just testing you guys.
Yeah. Send us an email and if you know who it is. I mean, what is this? Just a pretty simple squash match, really, for Kamala. There's a chant which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
You are a man.
Yeah.
As if Kamala. I mean, I know the angle here
Well,
is like you're your own man.
Yeah. You're a man. You're not a monster.
Right.
And
like,
the
you're
crowd's
not-
like, you're a man.
Yeah.
It's like,
I kind of was thinking, like, what if Kamala was like questioning himself?
yeah.
Like, am I a man or a woman?
Right.
I mean, he's got boobs,
He does.
so it's like I don't
He
know.
wears a dress.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what if they're like maybe in the modern day wrestling they'd be like, we just think you're
There
a woman.
you go.
And Slick's like, no, dude, you're a man.
Yeah. Come on.
Have you checked
Come
recently?
on. The crowd's even saying it. Like, listen to the crowd. Come on.
I don't really like the whole angle of him not knowing how to pin someone.
You know what? But here's the thing with my opinion on Kamala right here. I like that he's throwing in really unorthodox offense. Like, it doesn't look overly
Choreographed.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I like that part of it. The kind of the rugged. He's still a monster. He doesn't really know what he's doing.
Just like it's as if it's being presented like he's just trying to survive.
And hurt the guy.
Yeah.
And like fight him, which I like. But the pinning thing is stupid because
I don't even remember if prior to this he had forgotten how to pin someone.
right,
I have to think he
probably
knew like they didn't have this angle playing out
no
the whole time.
No. And you know what else I didn't like about this too is like, okay, so like you said, like the whole you're a man, you're a human. Vince is on commentary like trying to even more so humanize Kamala. And I just feel like with the gimmick, it defeats the whole purpose. He's Kamala. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
It is
to me.
trying to like humanize him, and
But why though? He's Kamala.
well, I think Vince was trying to get away from a spooky monster heel or something.
But yet Papa Shango
Well,
and
he's fading out. Like he's on the decline as well.
I know. But still, you guys, Damien Demento's on every Raw, but Kamala has to be humanized. It doesn't make sense to me where you could have Damien Demento get humanized because he does look kind of like a human. You shave that crap off the back of his head, and you could sell me on that. It's Kamala, whereas I feel like Kamala should just be what he is.
Okay, if you're going for him as a face, in order to get him to get sympathy,
Which I wouldn't be
from
doing.
from the crowd,
Right.
you have to humanize him.
You do.
So I understand the approach. I just don't think it's entertaining.
But take a modern spin on it. Say Braun Strowman. I feel like just because, he's smashing bases and stuff on Raw, I wouldn't classify him as getting humanized. He's still a monster, crazy guy. I feel like there's ways to get a guy like that over. And they're just kind of going the easy route here with Kamala. Like, okay, let's just do a 180. And, okay, he's going to be a human guy now. And it's like, no.
Well, the premise, I'm pretty sure, is when he went into the casket with Taker at Survivor Series 92,
Okay.
that it spooked him. And it, changed him.
Okay.
So that's kind of the background.
Okay.
At least that's my interpretation in
All
my
right.
memory. That could be off. But following
I
that
guess.
that
Yeah,
loss, that's
I
when
guess.
Kimchi and them
Okay.
were really trying to get at him.
Okay.
So that's like the turning point for
I
the
guess.
character.
All right. Well, I guess that makes a little bit more sense then. But still, if I'm booking, Kamala's not a face ever his whole run. He's a heel.
Yeah, I think he's more believable as a heel.
Absolutely.
Better suited for that role.
Absolutely.
Following the match, well, I guess we should say Kamala wins with a splash.
Yep.
Pretty simple. Brawler really had no shot. Vince McMahon interviews Slick and gives him props for what he's done with Kamala. But Slick can't take all the credit. He credits the fans for accepting Kamala and Slick suggests that Kimchi and Harvey Whippleman, I hate that last name because I always stumble on it, stay away from them.
Yeah.
That's a threat.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what else is funny here? So Vince leaves the table, right, to do the promo with Kamala and Slick. And as soon as Vince gets off the table with commentary, Bobby starts strong-arming Bartlett and is like, now you know how this works, right? And Bartlett's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he's the real host of the show, so you better be giving him the paycheck. Like, you don't get the money. You pass that to me. When you get your check, you give it to me.
What a
That's how it
weasel.
works. So as soon as the boss walks away, he's like talking to the new guy, like, okay, as soon as you get your check, it goes in my pocket.
That's awesome.
As soon as you get it, you let me know.
I didn't even hear that.
He's strong-arming him. It was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
From there, it's just a post-Royal Rumble report. Mean Gene hypes up the possible main event of Bret Hart going against Yokozuna.
Right.
Because you never know, Bret could lose the belt.
Yep.
He also brings up Lex Luger's debut at the Royal Rumble and puts over Luger's body. So they're really driving that home.
Well, but wait a second, because Gene says he's not a big fan of Lex Luger, and I couldn't agree more.
Another guy. I mean, I enjoy this version of Luger. So...
But hey, I gotta give credit where credit's due. They kept this Royal Rumble report short. They
Yes.
gave you the winners of the matches. We also get another 500+ pound drop on Yokozuna, so we're still at 500+.
What did I say? 540 for Mania?
550, you said for Mania.
550. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm already trying to change my number. I don't even know.
I think we'll get to 530 at WrestleMania. I don't know. 550 is a pretty,
550 is high.
That's a realistic number, though. I could see them going with that.
They could.
I could see them going with that. But yeah, Gene going, not a big fan of Lex Luger. I'm right there with you, Gino.
Well, I'm not there because this is probably, I would say, the most enjoyable Luger from a character perspective for myself.
That's not saying much.
Well, that's true. I guess that's a fair,
That's
a
not
fair
saying much,
side of the
Bob.
argument. Gene also brings up Giant Gonzalez debuting and attacking The Undertaker at the Rumble,
Right.
which was a pretty good debut.
Comparatively. on that
Compared to
show.
Luger or whatever, yeah. Instantly makes Gonzalez one of the top heels.
Absolutely.
sure.
And you know what? It's cool because people are like, wait, what? Who? Like, what happened? And it's this giant guy. So I think the intrigue and mystery is there huge.
What do you think about the bodysuit with hair? The hairy bodysuit that Gonzalez wears.
I'm split on it. Because it's, okay, if you put that on Damien Demento,
What is with you and Damien Demento?
it's just, okay, so if you put that
Pick on somebody, Bob Backlund. If you put it on Bob Backlund.
he probably doesn't even need something like that. Well, then again, he's pretty clean shaven.
He
guy.
is.
a
He's
pretty
like an
clean-shaven
all-American
guy.
boy.
They'll like turn him heel with the bodysuit on.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's a hairy animal.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not shaving anymore.
That's right. But I think it doesn't work on anybody else but Gonzalez. I believe it helps put the giant aspect over, I guess. But again, if you put that suit on Andre the Giant, it's gonna look ridiculous.
It looks ridiculous either way. And it took me forever. I shouldn't say forever.
I like it.
As a kid though, like I didn't realize it was a suit.
So you thought he was naked?
No, I thought I don't know what I thought. I didn't think
Little
he was naked.
Bob had his hands under the covers watching.
No.
Gonzalez.
No, I plead the fifth. No, that was not the case. No, as a kid, I mean, like watching this for the first time as a kid, I was probably like 7.
Right. Were you scared?
Well, I mean, this is me watching it years after it already happened. So this is like 95, 96. Because I would
Still.
rent Coliseum
Yeah,
videos or
still.
whatever.
It's around the same time.
Yeah, so the first time ever seeing it, I was just like, he's not human.
Yeah.
That's in my head. I'm like,
yeah.
who is this guy? I wasn't
Right.
thinking, oh my God, he's naked. Like that's his
No,
penis.
like what is this? Who is?
Yeah,
What kind of creature is?
Right.
This?
I was just like, what? And then I would say when I hit like 10 or 11, I
Well,
would watch it.
yeah.
I'd be like,
By then you're
that's
like,
a freaking suit. Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Like, it makes no sense.
but I even feel like they're kind of like the WWF.
I probably sound ridiculous saying that.
No,
but-
no, I get that. Well, because even like at the Rumble when he debuts, I think Gorilla says, what is this? What is this creature?
Right, a creature, yeah.
So I think they're trying to go with that. So that makes sense. If I'm a kid, right, and I'm in the second row at the Royal Rumble, I'm shitting my pants when this guy comes out. I'm fucking scared.
For sure. I mean, it's similar to, like, Papa Shango. Like, he's not a great wrestler, obviously, but the
effective. He's
Yeah,
effective.
like you see him coming out with his skull and stuff like that, and they would pan to the crowd. Like, the kids were just like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
who
I
is
would be.
this guy?"
Oh yeah, I would be scared.
Oddly enough, I wasn't scared because I really enjoyed Papa Shango
Oh, he's
as a
cool.
kid.
Yeah, he's cool. But I think in that aspect of it, as far as the suit and the whole look goes, it accomplishes what they're trying to do. I think.
No, I agree.
So that's why I like it.
It's just he's a horrible wrestler.
Well, we were talking about the suit.
I know,
Bob.
but like no matter the suit, it's just like Repo Man. He could be a phenomenal wrestler, but if you look like
But his
shit,
suit looks like shit.
I know, but to me, I don't know what. It's just the point is, if you could look like $1 million
Right.
and suck,
Oh yeah.
and people are not gonna be like, he looks great.
No.
Meanwhile, if you're in shitty attire and you work great,
Right.
I feel like people are gonna be like, he's a great wrestler.
Right.
That's
I hate
just
to-
me.
Well, and I hate to say it, but somebody who jumps to mind is like Daniel Bryan. I always feel like Daniel Bryan had really shitty gear.
Well, he was like, even when he was like in Ring of Honor and stuff, he was just his gimmick was a wrestler.
Yeah, but that got him over. Like they
Yeah.
didn't care what he looked like, so
Sure.
it backs your point up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Wow, we just go all over the place.
Hey,
So much for sticking to 93. We're like in 2018.
We're
They were like, let's go to
sticking to
05. Let's go to
93.
05.
Come on, we're good.
Coming up next is Final Battle from 2006, Ring of Honor.
Hell yeah, get ready.
Coming off of the report, Bobby Heenan continues to hit on ring girls as if he doesn't know he's on air.
Right, and I'm down for that.
The first one got me. The second one, I was like,
Well,
okay.
of course, by then you know.
Yeah.
Also snuck in here, Bob.
Yeah.
Another little Brett Ico promo.
Oh, yeah.
Same one we've gotten.
You gotta want it.
We got it before, but hey, they're sneaking it in there.
Shout out to Ico Pro,
Yeah.
the source of the name of ICOPOD.
I gotta say, Brett has more intensity and believability in these than he does on the regular mic on Raw.
I'm going to guarantee you he probably had 40 takes at it.
Sure he did, but that's going to say something.
Have you seen his bloopers on interviews before or
Oh
promos?
God, I can only imagine.
Papa Fango. Oh, shit. Shango. Shango? Damn it. I don't know his name. You're
Oh,
like, all right,
God.
Brett.
Well, isn't it like a thing where when he was first cutting promos, he had to wear the glasses because he was
Yes.
so nervous?
I think he's even said about that.
Well, so like that just goes to show, which I get it. I'd be in the same boat. Like, holy shit, talking in front of a live
I would just have
crowd
my
or
eyes
whatever.
closed behind.
Yeah,
underneath my bed. I don't know.
Hand over your face, just cutting a promo. That would work.
I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't see you coming, but I'll get you.
Did you cut the camera yet? I can't see the red
As we're
light.
live, it's like, dude, no.
Yeah.
That's something Sid would do. That leads us right to our main event, right? Pretty quick. It's like a quick episode.
It's a quick episode. Yeah.
So the main event here is Ric Flair against Mr. Perfect. They were former business partners
Yeah.
for most of '92 at least.
Right.
And tonight it all comes to a head. A little backstory here that I've mentioned before, but Mr. Perfect turned on Ric Flair in November of '92. I guess agreeing to be Randy Savage's partner. It came out of nowhere, really.
It did.
Like Savage was just like, "Oh, I don't have a partner. How about you, Mr. Perfect? Oh yeah." And he's just like, "All right, sure." And then
I
he's
got
like,
nothing to do.
Yeah, and he's like, "What the hell? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, I've had enough of you anyway."
Right.
Just kind of out of the blue. So that leads us to this match. I believe Perfect had eliminated Flair at the Rumble, right?
Correct.
So that adds a little bit more heat here.
Correct.
What do you think about this main event, Austin?
Well, I gotta say, so for Flair's entrance, Bobby gets up from the table and shakes his hand,
Yes.
which I like. That was a nice little touch. I was kind of expecting Bobby to stay ringside, but he didn't, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. They had a pretty even battle to start off until Perfect started building momentum to the point where Flair bails out of the ring. This is where Heenan tried to slip him a weapon to use. Vince is on commentary saying it's a hammer. Just thinking of Bobby pulling a hammer out of his shirt to give
Isn't it
Ric
just
Flair.
nuts? brass
I don't
knucks?
know. I didn't get to see it.
I think
didn't
it's-
see it. Is it just Knuckles?
Is this during the match?
It's during the match.
Yeah, I think it's brass knucks.
Which is funny because, like, okay, so you got Bobby Heenan, a veteran manager. The image of him thinking he could sneak a hammer to Ric Flair to use, like, that's ridiculous.
Right. It's like, oh, what's this? I got a sledgehammer.
Here's a bat.
Yeah.
Don't show the
it's in
ref.
it's in my back pocket. Here, hide it
Yeah.
in your boot.
Yeah.
It's like, Bobby, it's a freaking sledgehammer. No, it's okay.
Yeah, I loved that.
Well, one thing I want to point out is the previous 2 matches both had like somebody attacking before the bell.
Right.
Now this is a career match.
Right.
If I lose, I'm done. They don't have anybody attack before the bell. It's like a
No.
normal start of a match.
Yeah, normal.
I didn't think that was a good idea.
I agree. That didn't make sense to me. Also, too, I feel like they're really laying it in here. Like, they're chopping the hell out of each other in the corner. Perfect. A little bit harder than Flair, I'd even say. Flair resorted to go for a chair, but he was stopped by the ref, who basically dove out onto the chair as Flair held it over his head.
A non-folding chair too. That would have
I
hurt.
know.
That would have hurt bad.
Right.
If
Yeah.
he just wailed on him with
So
it.
I thought it was like, I guess that kind of helped up it a little bit because, okay, Flair's kind of trying to do whatever he has to do to make this happen. Perfect takes a rough bump to the outside after being whipped into the corner. And so here's what happens. Perfect got the blade.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. He gets the blade. Seems to be all strikes during this match. I don't see a lot of grapples.
Oh, that's what I've noted here. I'm not. I believe the first time I watched this, I was like, oh wow, this is a really good match. Like I've said before, this is like 10 years after the fact that I've seen it, and that type of wrestling doesn't tend to interest me.
Right.
Just hitting chops and right hands.
There's a
the
lot of
entire time.
strikes and, like you said, brawling.
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
mean, like there's some like Japanese wrestling, like they can do that because you can see.
Well,
that,
you can get away with it.
Yeah, well, they're like legitimately
Oh yeah.
like killing each other with
yeah.
forearms.
Right.
But like I noted, like hitting the ring post and he gets the blade out, and the first time there's blood
yeah.
on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that they did blood there.
I did
there,
too.
though.
I
Kind of
did too.
adds more intensity, emotion to it.
Yeah.
You know,
I did
Perfect's the babyface in peril. Like, oh,
Right.
he's buzzed open, he's gonna lose now or whatever.
And Flair's playing the perfect coward here, trying to pull out all the stops.
All the dirty tricks.
Yeah, all the dirty tricks.
All the
Classic
dirty tactics.
Flair. As a whole, though, I thought the match was kind of boring. I don't get me wrong. I think this is the best match we've seen on Raw thus far, but that's not, again, saying much. Mostly been squash matches for what it is. But right as I thought that, we got a sloppy jumping headlock application on Flair, which looked like it wrenched his neck a little bit. Like Perfect did a really weird kind of running, jumping. I don't know. It didn't look good at all. We got, of course, the classic Flair spots here. Starting to doze off. I literally was. I'm at my computer. I just started dozing because it's like you built it up to be this match that it was going to be something like all bets are off. It's not going to be something you've seen before. And it's literally a Ric Flair match. Like nothing different.
It does not hold up very well.
No.
Over time.
I
here.
agree.
I know years ago I saw people giving it like 4 stars or 3.5. And it's like I don't think it's anywhere near that today.
I think 3 stars is generous.
I would say very generous.
It's generous.
Because it felt like an average match. Like the usage of blood kind of kicks it up a bit.
It does. Yeah.
That adds some emotion to it.
It does.
But relatively speaking, you're right. I mean, it's basically just a Ric Flair match, and I would be inclined to think he went into this thinking, "Well, I'm leaving, so we'll just do the basic shit." And
Do you think he mailed it in?
100%.
Yeah.
And I know him and Perfect are buds.
Sure. So Perfect's
But-
not going to be like, oh, no, dude, come on.
And regardless of him mailing it in, I would imagine a huge win for Perfect.
Absolutely.
You know,
To send
arguably-
Flair out of the WWF.
Yeah, arguably
Yeah.
the biggest win of his career.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, he's been Intercontinental Champion, but I don't think he's beaten anybody to the caliber of Ric Flair.
Right.
So the finish here is basically Perfect hitting the Perfect Plex.
Yeah, like lightning quick.
Yeah.
He hits it wicked fast.
It was right after Flair tried to get the pin with his feet on the ropes, but the referee kicked his boots off. That
Yeah.
led to Perfect getting
And
control.
Vince just keeps going, the foot, the foot, the foot, the foot. He's
panicking.
just keep saying it over and over.
Yeah. The crowd didn't really seem to be all that into it either.
No. No.
So that might be an example of just being burnt out because this was the second episode.
Probably. In the match, they got a bunch of time, which I was kind of glad for. Like, good for them.
I think it's like 23 minutes.
Yeah, they got a bunch of time.
Which I think kind of gave WWF the impression these guys are going to go classic.
You're probably hoping for
Or,
that. Yeah.
and then it just
okay.
didn't deliver there.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
memorable moment for sure, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, for Flair losing and now being out of WWF. Just not a memorable match.
Right.
Thus, Flair's gone for the WWF. He'd be gone for about 9 years. So on ICOPOD,
See you later.
We bid adieu. Heenan's freaking out on commentary before going to Flair and walking with him backstage.
Yeah, they even like fake censor Bobby out.
Yes.
As if he's just livid.
Yeah.
He's going nuts.
I mean, I think if you even read his lips, he's not cussing.
No. Yeah, but I thought that was a nice touch to add that in, as a post-production standpoint.
Yeah.
To finish the week out, we had the same WWF Mania video package that's been played at least 3 or 4 times now. When I first saw this package, I loved it. Now I hate it because they've just done it so
Been
many
3
times.
weeks.
Yeah, hate it already. And then announced for next week, we get Doink versus Typhoon.
Well, I want to point out that McMahon makes sure to announce that Flair will be wrestling matches throughout the weekend.
Oh,
That
okay.
He is obligated to wrestle on the weekend.
Oh, I didn't even realize
because
that.
he is signed to compete at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
So that's likely a case of still come to the show because
Sure.
Flair will be there.
Yeah.
In fact, Flair would actually wrestle into the first week of February,
Wow.
I believe.
Huh.
But as you mentioned, Doink and Typhoon, singles match next week.
Mm-hmm.
Are you pumped?
Matter of fact, I am. I like both guys. I like both guys.
For Typhoon?
Look at what he did in the Rumble.
No.
He's kicking
That
some
was
ass in the
he
Rumble.
did one bump.
I'm giving it to him.
Oh my god.
Speaking of things that are announced, how about that Bushwhackers match on Raw
That
this week?
never happened.
Never effing happened. They
Why?
didn't even appear.
I wonder if you know what, I think Savage Repo probably went overtime.
Probably, yeah.
Because I would have cut that in half.
Well, and it's rushed at the end, like we
Yeah.
talked about. So I thought that was weird.
I
Because
mean-
this is like, it happened a couple times now. They keep promoting
Yeah.
guys. It's like, nothing happens.
I
They're
can't
not on.
imagine though, like Papa Shango. Like he was supposed to be
Right.
on an episode, not there.
Right.
I don't think.
Jin Duggan at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I'm
Not
gonna
there.
win, but I'm gonna try real hard, but not
Not there.
gonna show up.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I was entirely disappointed though about Bushwhackers. I hate the Bushwhackers.
So do I.
Sheep herders, yeah, I can deal with. Like that was some brutal wrestling. They're really good. Bushwhackers, like I don't need to see you licking people's foreheads.
No.
I can do without.
Yep. Pass on that.
So the only thing that's announced for next week is Doink and Typhoon. You're for some reason excited about it.
Yeah.
I kind of am dreading it. I mean, I like Doink, but Typhoon out of the natural disasters, I'd go Quake.
Well, of course. Of course, but I think Doink could have a lot worse opponents than Typhoon.
You'd be surprised. So the show is okay overall, I guess.
I didn't like it.
I said okay. I didn't say
I didn't like this
great.
first one that we watched over the week because it just felt very slow paced. Like it went by quick, but not in a good way. Like I was kind of tuning in and out. Like I said, I almost fell asleep during the main event.
This is gonna sound a little weird, but you might agree with me. Tape shows may have a different feel than live shows.
I agree.
And I don't know how to explain that, but it just does. The
Well,
feel to
'cause-
it's different.
And like on the surface, you can't really tell on the surface, I would say.
Yeah.
Other than a few instances. But like you said, there is a certain feel there where you can kind of tell, okay, they taped this, they don't care about this, so why should I? Like it's a taped show. And the whole point of Raw, the whole selling point of Raw, we're alive, pal.
Right.
Tape show episode 3.
Well, I mean, they have to do that because of syndication.
Still.
I know.
Still.
I understand.
Come on.
Puts the show in a tough spot.
It sure does.
So with this being the final time that we see Flair for, if I had to do a rough estimate, I don't know, 350 episodes or something, if we
Sure.
continue
yeah,
on
over
that far.
Over the years.
I figured let's take a little look here at Flair's career in
Okay.
WWF.
Yeah.
And any comments?
Yeah.
So he arrived at the end of '91. I want to say September.
Right.
I could be wrong. But his first major feud was with Piper. I don't know if you have any memories of feud with Piper. They had some really entertaining matches, house show wise.
Yeah.
In '92, they would have several cage matches and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, and I've reviewed them for WrestlingRecaps.com and
Cheap plug.
on my own podcast.
Yep.
And I was pleasantly surprised.
See, I've never seen any of that stuff.
Oh, I'll have to
Never
I'll have
seen
to
any of that
show
stuff.
them to you or something. But just the crowd energy, like the fans wanted this, like wanted
Yeah.
them to fight each other.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like they fight at this Tuesday in Texas, but in a dark match.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that for the
that's
longest
weird.
time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
In WWE, like they released the unreleased matches, like we've never seen them before,
Okay.
and they didn't include that.
What?
Yeah,
You would think with those two named guys.
I don't know how you don't.
Now, have you seen that match?
No, because it's
Really?
never been
You
released
just
before.
can't- yeah, you can't
Yeah, it's
find
just a
it.
dark match.
Wow.
It's one of the rare instances that I've enjoyed Flair and Piper
Well,
was on those house shows.
To go on a little tangent here.
Yeah.
Piper, I feel like, is one of the guys who has the most up and down career of all time. Like either you like Piper and what he's doing, or it's like a groan.
I'm more of a UGG guy.
For me, yes and no.
Mostly for me because the prime time of me viewing it was like 96 onwards.
Yeah, his decline.
Yeah. I've grown to obviously appreciate
The stuff
86
before.
and stuff,
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
collar matches, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Right. But I would say for the majority, I'm one of them weird guys though that like weird Piper and WCW fighting against Bischoff and stuff though. Like I enjoy that stuff, even though Piper is way past, the best he could be.
Well, for Piper, I guess, tipping point or
Yeah,
the
what's your
final,
cutoff?
my cutoff
Yep,
point,
what's your cutoff?
97.
Oh God, yeah.
Piper Hogan's pretty
Oh,
enjoyable. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, the matches aren't all time greats or anything, but promos and stuff leading up to it, it's like
no,
great.
yeah.
And then 98 hits, and it's just like,
No, that's
dude, chill.
a perfect cutoff. Yeah, I agree completely with that.
Because there's a point here in Piper's career where he's clearly trying to be a cool dad.
Oh sure.
And I know we were talking about Flair, but now we're talking about Piper.
Well, he even gets into like dad jokes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And it's as if he gets one laugh and he just rides with
He
it.
just goes with it.
He
Oh,
hears
yeah.
some guy in the front row going, "Oh my God, you said a not joke," and Piper like sees it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go with it." Meanwhile, 13,000 other guys are just like, "Oh,
my
shit."
God. No, I agree. I agree. You're right there.
Okay. So that was a pretty good starting off point for Flair. Obviously, he wins the world title at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then his big match or big feud is with Savage for like all of 92 for the most part.
I have to say, throughout time in WWF, that's one of my favorite feuds of all time.
I agree with you 100,000%.
So well done, so well produced, especially for that early on in WWF. It got into like the adultery and like I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's risque.
It's really, yeah. Oh, for
I mean,
the time,
they-
absolutely.
I know they had done something similar in like 89 or so with like Bad News Brown, insinuating that, oh, Savage, you're getting all these title shots or easy opponents because Elizabeth's doing favors for Tunney.
Yeah.
But this is different. This Flair's
This
like, I
is-
had her before you did.
And this is a spotlight piece right here.
Yeah.
So that's like, holy
WrestleMania
shit.
8 was probably one of the first tapes I ever bought.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that like it was nobody's business. I watched it all the time. And that match between Flair and Savage hooks me every single time.
It's still one of my favorite WrestleManias.
I think it's grossly underrated.
I agree.
We should one of these days we should do a review of it and then watch us go and be like, oh, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Holy shit.
WrestleMania 7, that's what we meant. Okay, let's watch that for 4 hours.
Although, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't Cheryl Roberts before that?
Yeah, with Rude.
So that's, I guess, an instance where it was pretty risque for the same kind of deal.
Yeah, but 80s kind of had that feel though, because like Hogan and Savage did it too with the Mega
With
Powers.
Elizabeth.
So
and
there's
stuff.
been
Yeah,
that
okay.
insinuation, but by 92 or 93, it's
They're
like,
kind of out of that.
yeah, it's all characters, goofy
Yeah,
kind of characters.
Yeah. No, that's true. It does definitely stand out for sure.
I know I guess I skipped ahead here, but what about the non-main event Mania match with Hogan? I mean, they had a few matches on house shows and stuff like that.
What a missed opportunity,
Would you have done Flair Hogan at WrestleMania 8?
Oh my god!
How do you not?
Absolutely. You want to make some money?
I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't care about. I guess the rumor has always been, or factual rumors, if that makes any sense. But the facts are that their ticket sales had gone down each time. So like the first match would be great, like sale, like oh sold out.
Right.
Then they do a loop again. They get there and be like, oh, they went down like 4,000 tickets. It's not going to make it to Mania.
Right.
If you announce Hogan Flair WrestleMania 8,
And save it.
yeah, I don't know why they burned through it.
Why would you burn through
Do tag
that?
matches.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Avoid that.
Or test it out one time. If you go to the Cow Palace and you sell out the joint,
Right.
don't return to it
No.
the next month.
Exactly.
But that's what they did back then.
Exactly. That's where I think the problem is. And you know what? I think so. Fast forward. Who do you put over if they fight at WrestleMania? Flair or Hogan?
Well, assuming Hogan's leaving. Are we assuming Hogan's leaving?
No,
still?
not at all. Let's just say, not knowing past WrestleMania 8, who are you putting over?
Okay, off the top of my head, because we didn't discuss this before, so this is fresh off our heads here. I guess I would put Hogan over with the idea of putting Sid Justice over at SummerSlam. If everything goes according to plan.
Okay.
I just have a tough time at WrestleMania putting over a heel.
I don't think people are going to be pissed off when they hear this. I don't think putting Flair over Hogan at WrestleMania 8 would have been good. Like, I think that would have been bad.
Well, I mean, how would you even put him over? Are you going to have Hogan lose to the Figure 4? Has Hogan even ever tapped at this point? I don't even think he has ever.
Not only would that kill Hogan,
I don't know if it would kill him.
tapping out to Ric Flair in the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, tapping out, yeah.
Tapping out, middle of the
All right.
ring. I think WWF goes down from that point.
Hogan
Like,
would never do that.
never.
No way.
Never.
Yeah, hey, Hogan, so we need you to...
You would tap out clean to Flair.
Yeah. After like 12 minutes,
Yeah,
tap out.
okay.
Hogan would be like, what?
I don't think so, brother.
When's my rematch? Oh, you're going to take a break for like 6 months.
Yeah,
Whoa,
we're writing you off.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Where's Ted Turner? Let me get on that phone real
Exactly.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would never do that.
So I agree with you. I think even if they had the match, Hogan has to go over. Has to.
And I don't think Vince's ego would let him not do that.
Probably not, because
Flair's
then you're
a
saying
WCW.
WCW is better than you.
Exactly.
Right.
Which, though, admittedly, he keeps Flair strong
He sure does.
throughout the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
As
Oh,
if,
yeah.
respecting, hey,
No, he does.
this guy's, a
Which,
big deal.
thankfully, because, you gotta kind of respect friggin' Ric Flair.
Don't get me wrong. I would totally understand if he lost to Tatanka
oh, my.
during the undefeated streak. Tatanka
I'd tap
is a-
your ass out at WrestleMania if that happened.
All right.
Move
Whatever.
on. What else we got for Flair?
I just have a question. What if Flair sticks around in '93? Where do you think he goes, or could have gone?
Do you see him moving on to WrestleMania with Brett?
No, I mean, let's say after Rumble.
Okay.
So like Yoko Hart.
So we're
is,
picking up right after that.
Yeah.
See, that's tough because now, okay, so you've introduced Lex Luger, and he's going to be a main heel moving forward. Well, a featured heel.
Mm-hmm.
So the momentum has really shifted as far as, because before Rumble, we're pretty thin on heels. Like, you don't have Bam Bam, really. You don't have Lex Luger. All these guys. Really, Yoko cements his spot at Royal Rumble. So I think, I got to say, Flair probably gets lost in the shuffle. I might have Flair tag up with somebody. If we could get like Arn in, have Arn and Flair tag up, maybe make a run for the belts or something. But I don't know. That's a tough... I think he gets lost in the shuffle in the rest of 93. I don't know what you would do with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of ideas, and honestly, I know I literally just said it, but I think I'd have him pair up with Tatanka.
Oh, God.
I really do.
No.
I kind of think I would. Or if you really wanted to go too early with it, turn Ramon face and go Flair Ramon.
You could.
With the idea
You
of
could.
Flair saying, Ramon, you said you were going to get that title back from me, and you never did.
Right.
Cheap shot him, whatever. And
Right.
then you get a quick angle into Mania, but
Sure.
I think you're right. With the direction where WWF's going, I don't think there's a concrete area for him.
It would be really, really tough to kind of navigate that minefield for Ric Flair.
And he's done everything.
Right, exactly. Especially over the last, year and a
Yeah.
half. Like, holy shit.
He's won the Rumble. He's
Right.
2 times WWF World Champion.
Main event spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really not much you can do.
What
with
if
those four.
what if he like made a new horseman?
In WWF?
Yeah.
So who's your horseman?
Well, Flair, obviously.
Okay.
Michaels.
Really?
Yeah.
In the Four Horsemen?
Yeah.
No.
Like in the WWF version of it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You put Luger in it.
No.
What?
No, because I mean, I know he was in it before, but the character Luger is like so self-absorbed that he wouldn't want to share a spotlight with like that.
I don't think Sean would either.
Yeah, but Sean.
Nah,
He'd
I don't
do
think
it.
So.
I think he
don't
would.
think so.
This is what-
Doink.
Doink, sure. Demento.
Duh. Absolutely.
You know. He doesn't know where he is.
It's
I was in the
perfect.
Horseman. What are you like talking about?
Perfect.
No, so I would go like Flair, Michaels, and Money Incorporated.
See, now that would be awesome.
That's
if
what I
it
would
was
do.
DiBiase, that would be really
Yeah.
cool.
With the idea, I mean, let's say 93 at some point, Flair gets the belt back.
Right.
All those guys holding gold.
Yeah. And they're all like rich and well-to-do.
Yeah.
Like that's perfect.
Michaels is a good-looking guy. He's not cross-eyed yet.
Right.
And you got Flair, who's pretty good in the ring. And then
Did you just gloss over that? You just shouted out Sean's lazy eye right here on episode 3.
listen, I can do that because I've had 2 surgeries for lazy eyes.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I don't know what Sean's doing. He's behind the 8 ball on that.
I don't know what happened to cause that.
Yeah.
But that's my idea. I think I would go. I think
I like that. I don't know if I like Michaels in there, but I definitely like Money Inc.
Yeah,
I think that's perfect.
I can see your point where being like Michaels was self-absorbed
And he still needed to build at this time. Michaels is still at this time kind of an unestablished. Like we don't know what we have with Michaels yet.
sure, but the way you can approach it would be Flair's desperate,
Sure.
so he's trying to stay relevant. He wants to get his own a crew of guys here.
Mm-hmm.
So he approaches Michaels and is saying like, "Kid, I see a lot of me in you.
Right.
If you get by my side, you'll be champion in no time."
Yeah.
With the idea eventually being Flair doesn't come through as his promise.
Of course.
Michaels can then turn face,
Yeah.
feud with his like legendary former friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes, I mean, Flair is Michaels' icon, so you
Sure.
could play into that a little bit.
Sure.
But I guess I don't know. At this time for Michaels, I don't know. But I like that idea. 4 Horsemen. Yeah, you could definitely do that moving forward. And it kind of groups a bunch of heels together, so you can kind of kill 4 birds with 1 stone. If that
Exactly.
makes sense.
Unlimited like matchups.
Right,
If you
right.
get 4 faces, it's a few
Exactly.
that you can intertwine it.
Exactly.
You got TV set up for months
Right.
doing that.
Right.
Interesting note here. We just went on the Flair thing, but I want to point out that the Raw rating for this show, TV rating, was a 2.6.
At this time, is that good?
That's considered to be a major disappointment by WWF officials.
Well, I would hope so. Yeah, I don't think this episode was... Like, if you skipped this episode and went on to the next one, you wouldn't miss much.
Well, I mean, you would miss the fact that Flair's gone.
Eh.
What do you think about them doing this on a tape show and then you go to Rumble and like, you know what I mean? 1,600 people or 1,200 people.
How do you not
this
have-
guy's retired.
How do you have this match not on the Royal Rumble? Does Flair and Perfect need to be in the Royal Rumble?
No, because it sets up this match.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give them the match on the card. Instead of Bam Bam and Boss Man, like we talked about, could have easily been inserted into the Royal Rumble. Easily.
That makes way too much sense. But I think the point of it too was to give Raw a big match.
Probably.
early on into the
Probably, but at the same
existence.
time, did it really benefit? Obviously not.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
they
true.
kind of dropped the ball on that. So,
That's true. So I guess not a really memorable show.
I agree.
The end of an era,
Yeah.
a year era, I guess.
Yeah.
With Flair. That pretty much wraps it up on my end for the January 25th edition of Raw. You
I
have anything
agree.
else?
Yeah, just again, the show was pretty average. Repo and Savage did what they could. Savage did what he could, really. I'm glad, hopefully, that we've closed the book on that. Boy, I hope so. And other than that, we really were kind of like, where is Shawn Michaels? I was expecting Shawn Michaels on this show, at least, coming off his victory over Marty.
Well, there's a few things like Yokozuna.
Yeah, we were right. The guy who just won the Rumble is
Yeah.
not even on the show. So I thought we were kind of really lacking on talent for this episode. So I have it right here on my page. What I thought,
No, I agree. The only positive with these shows is that they're 45 minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree. That
That's
does
only
help.
positive.
That helps.
Like if this was a 2-hour show, and that was what we got for 2 hours, I would have been like, I think I just wasted 2 hours of my life.
But at the same time, they probably could have snuck in a couple more guys that we wanted to see.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that it was taped.
It really doesn't help
That
that it's taped.
hurts.
Yeah.
But
Even the crowd, I feel like, was less into it this whole show.
it was. They were.
Now, did they film this show right after the
Yes.
other one? Oh, see, that's why.
That's how you burn them out.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And there was more and they would have stuff taped for Mania
Right.
and things like
Right.
that. So they probably
So
got
the
it quite a
crowd
bit.
is getting killed.
Oh yeah.
See,
Oh yeah.
I disagree with that. I disagree with doing that. You're saving money.
But you're sacrificing the television aspect of it.
Exactly. It's coming off like you're saving money. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you don't have anything else,
that's it for episode 3, I think, man.
alright. That wraps up episode 3. Let me say that correctly. And as always, you can check us out on Facebook, ICOPro.
Please do. We appreciate all the love we've gotten so far. Name some countries, Bob. Where
Yeah,
have we
you know,
heard from?
Obviously, United States. Shocker. I
Are you
know.
sure?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So we've been doing this for 3 weeks. This will be the 3rd week. So in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I've noticed that United Kingdom,
Okay.
Canada,
Right.
and Honduras.
That's a curveball at the end.
I wasn't expecting that. I love it.
Hey,
you know,
we're
it's-
open to everybody.
It's insane to me that this has reached that
so
far already.
so
Yeah.
soon.
So I really hope everybody enjoys listening to it. You know,
Yeah.
two guys just talking about wrestling and
Yeah.
sharing our thoughts and opinions. And I hope you guys and gals send us an email or something.
Yeah, get your
Ico-
opinions on the show. We'll read them out. Let's discuss it.
ICOPodcast@gmail.com. And, you know, sure, we do a couple of episodes ahead of time, but I will most certainly read them on the air
Yeah, we'll get you
and
in there.
discuss them and just give you guys a shout out. So I appreciate it that people are taking the time to listen to us, and hopefully we can continue to entertain.
What's coming up next, Bob?
Well, the next show is going to be the February 1st show of Raw.
Are you excited?
To be honest with you, no.
Way to hook them in there, Bob. You're
I mean,
ruining the moment.
hell yeah.
you
should,
got it. You better tune in.
Yeah, no, wait, scratch that. Okay, Bob, edit that part out. Okay. Oh, yeah, no, man, I'm so pumped for the next episode.
Okay.
Like, people should download that and, like, send it to family.
Absolutely.
Because this is going to be
Yeah.
a monumental
Put it
Raw.
over on Twitter.
Yeah. Facebook,
Oh yeah.
Tumblr. Don't know how to use Tumblr, but,
Do
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who cares? Go to any website and just post it in comments. So go to, like, Women's Fitness and just put our
it on
podcast in there. And people are
Yeah.
like, what the hell? We're
Yeah.
talking about vitamins. No, you're not. ICOPOD. February 1st.
You gotta hear it.
We'll be back with episode 4.